Hello, biology teachers. I wanted to make a quick video overviewing our online resource for you guys, just in case you missed my training at the start of the year, you need a refresher, new to the school district, anything like that. This video will be hopefully useful for you in your situation. It shouldn't take us that long because especially the biology resource is so well organized. I think you'll find it very easy and intuitive to use. Everything that you see in terms of the activities that you see online will be the exact same as what's in the books. So you can always have the books out so students can view it that way if you don't want students to actually go online. I went ahead and logged all the way in. Logging in is a separate issue. Hopefully you guys can get in, open up the textbook. If you have issues with those, let me know. But I wanted to have this loaded up because I knew once I started recording, I have Zoom open, it'd be slow. But I wanted to show you an example of how do you use these resources, whether you're going to use the book or online, that's totally up to you. I do a mix of it based off what I'm trying to get at. How do I use these within my lessons? Because what I don't want to do is just assign the activities and have the kids work, because that's not really a lesson. We want to build these into our lessons as we teach. So each activity is going to have some sort of worksheet. Actually, this one is an example where there's just a diagram. So there's actually not any questions with this one. So this one might be good as a way for students to have something to take notes while you kind of utilize this slide, or as a reference sheet while you're doing a separate activity, since there's not actually anything on there for students to do. Or we're doing a class discussion and they need to reference that. That's how I would use that activity, because there just isn't any questions on it. And then you have two slides that go along with it. So pairing the slides with the activities that you're doing for the day will be so helpful for keeping it tied directly to what your students are doing. You'll also notice that, so pretty much every activity has the activity sheet. Most of them have slides, a few slides that go with it. And then there's additional resources that go with it. So for example, you have this one, you have 3 videos that tie together these concepts. It's not saying that you have to do every single one, but maybe you watch a segment of one of these in class, have a discussion or student answer questions. Maybe I'm using one in an ed puzzle for students doing some self-paced work. Maybe the students are assigned homework and I'm going to have this video linked on there as hey, if you have questions, you might find the answer in the video. And so I'm going to utilize those resources in strategic ways and not just I'm going to play these 3 videos in class, because that's not a useful way to engage with your students. So think about how can I utilize parts or all of these videos in unique ways that will engage my students. Let's jump into a different activity, and I'll open up this one because this has some good stuff. So here's an activity sheet that probably has questions on it. Most of them do. I opened up the wrong one. But you'll already see over here, you've got your activity sheet, you've got your slides, you got your videos. Here's some of the other things that you'll notice that the resource provides you. These 3D models, I'm going to show you these. These are excellent for students being able to manipulate and see what these structures look like. Different web links. These are a mix between articles. There's some simulations on those. Some cool worksheets. So the web links, I've actually pulled those out. You can see them easily in the curriculum map, but those can be useful resources as well. And I haven't really gone into this download, but you don't see many of those. So here's an example where here's actually where students can answer responses. So students, if you're doing it online, students can double click and type in their answers. If you have a book, those they are workbooks, but we're not using them that's a class set. Maybe the student has a piece of paper and they're answering on that. But if you're doing this as part of a class, and so we're kind of talking through things, hey, what do you guys think? What are the main features of prokaryotic cells? Find it here because your answers are up here so the students can locate it, they can write it down. And then me as a teacher, if I'm showing this on the screen, I can reveal answers for the students. Here's what it is: small single cells, then you can go on and on. A lot of these questions is asking students to go up to the diagrams, the charts, the text, analyze it, understand it, and then they'll be able to answer the questions, which is so similar to how our EOCs are, that using these activity sheets is a great way to prepare our students. So I highly encourage those. And then you are able to reveal the answer not only for you, but if you're doing parts of things in class, that makes sure that every student has the correct answer. And then they're very, like, they actually get to see excellent images of cells, which is so cool. And then they're filling in information and having all these other questions. So that's the activity sheet with questions on it. Students can type those. When students are typing these, you actually have access to view those. You would first have to assign an activity. Students have an activity tab or assignment tab when they log in, and they can do those. It gives you a progress checker. You can open up students at any point that they're working and see their answers to things. So you do have a way to view their stuff online as well. I don't have students, so I won't be able to show you that. But let's go ahead and open up a 3D model. And a 3D model, I could pull this up on the screen so students can view things. Better yet, students could be completing a labeling sheet for a cell model, and they use this as a resource to support in that. We'll see if this 3D model has it, but most of them, more than just telling me, hey, what, like nucleolus, let's do 8, the nuclear membrane. It not only tells me what it is, but it gives me some text about its function. So it's telling students exactly what those things do. So you could do a labeling sheet, and then they also can use this to figure out what does it actually do. Or have a matching section, find what does this thing, and they've got to click through and use the model to figure that out and see how interactive that is. So utilizing that, I can assign that to students. So the students would do this with some printed worksheet, or use this to help with activity. Whatever it is, I'm utilizing this so students get that more hands-on resource. And notice they've got it for prokaryotic cells, simple animal cells, and plant cells. So they have different varieties for different types of cells. So such excellent resources. But the one thing I want to highlight, and I'll finish off with this, is I'm not just going, okay, I'm just doing all these things today. I'll do it as is. Students do the work. No, I'm looking at what they have available, even across different activities. And how do I want to blend this into a lesson with the students using other things from the curriculum resource or outside things that I've used before? How do I blend this all together into engaging lessons that have students reach for higher knowledge and skill base? So that's how I would use these. And then sometimes as you're going through these, you guys can determine, is this activity worth it for me to do, or am I skipping it? So that's going to help you with the pacing, because I think if you try to go through and use every single activity and all the resources, it'll take way too long. So you will have to kind of pick and choose what things you're going to be utilizing. Okay, that's pretty much it for the resource and how I would imagine you using it. You can also take snippets of images and create your own worksheets. I know some schools do Modern Classroom. And so just stealing components, maybe I should say stealing, borrowing components of the resource and blending that into your work that you already have, or having those as separate resources students can go to find answers would be a great use of the resource as well. Okay, hopefully that video helps. Always feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.